Hi there, I'm Elizabeth Bertrand and I'm the founder of dolcevia.com. We explore Italy a little differently, focusing on what's actually happening across the country, from cultural events and exhibitions to festival openings, and the moments that don't always make it into the guidebooks. Every month, we bring you a curated overview, what's worth knowing, and more importantly, what's worth showing up for. And for that, I'm joined by two rather unique co-hosts. They're powered by artificial intelligence, obsessively up-to-date, and remarkably good at spotting exactly what matters. Together, they'll walk you through the month, so let's get into it.
So imagine a stainless steel frying pan that is just so incredibly massive, you actually need a municipal construction crane just to lower it into a town square.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And you are firing up these industrial gas burners to heat up 3,000 liters of oil.
That is a terrifying amount of hot oil.
Right. And you're getting ready to fry 3 tons of fresh fish, all to serve, 30,000 people in a single afternoon.
Just a casual lunch.
Exactly. And this is all just to celebrate the local patron saint of fishermen.
Well, okay, but then picture Rome on that exact same weekend.
Oh, totally different vibe.
Completely. You have literally hundreds of thousands of people packed into this massive free concert in the Capitol. And they're, aggressively debating collective bargaining.
Right.
And the existential threat that artificial intelligence poses to human labor.
Welcome to the deep dive. If you're listening and you've ever tried to plan a trip, you know the anxiety of trying to pick the right time.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, if you've ever been trapped in a gridlocked traffic jam on the Amalfi Coast in August.
That's the worst.
Just sweating through your shirt while staring at, like, a tour bus bumper.
Yeah.
You know exactly what a tourist trap feels like.
And on the flip side, the disappointment of showing up in February to find every restaurant shuttered and gray.
Yeah, the ghost town effect. So today, our mission is to sift through this massive stack of 2026 Italian cultural guides, event calendars, gastronomic itineraries, all of it.
We're looking for the sweet spot.
Precisely. We are pinpointing the ultimate travel sweet spot.
And looking at the data, we're focusing on May, because it's a travel landscape that, quite frankly, requires a totally different framework.
Yeah, so?
Well, you have to discard that binary idea of an off-season where everything is dormant and a peak season where everything is just totally overwhelming.
Right, because looking at these sources, May is Italy with the volume turned up but not yet too loud.
Exactly. It's the elegant middle.
You read these local guides and you can practically see the outdoor terraces filling up with people. The ferries are finally, moving across the lakes and bays on regular schedules.
The local markets are getting a bit louder.
Yeah, the coastlines are just beginning to show off. May in Italy is when the country remembers it is beautiful and behaves accordingly.
I love that. May is Italy before it starts shouting.
Right.
Practically speaking, from an infrastructural, meteorological, and cultural standpoint, you were getting the absolute maximum output from the country with the minimum amount of friction.
Because the weather is warm, but the landscapes haven't scorched yet.
Right. They're still green.
Yeah.
And the crowds are rising, sure, but they are entirely survivable.
Survivable is the key word there. So let's talk about the first major behavioral shift we see in the May schedules.
The great outdoor migration.
Yes. It's this mass migration outdoors. Piazzas essentially transform back into the country's living rooms. I actually have a theory about this.
Let's hear it.
It doesn't seem to be organized at all. It feels more like an involuntary biological response to the barometer hitting a certain pressure.
Oh, it is deeply instinctual. You walk through any neighborhood, and the cafes are suddenly full.
Yeah.
The aperitivo hours stretch way longer into the cooling evening. No one planned dinner, yet everyone is already seated.
It's magical.
It was basically a sociological reclaiming of public space after the winter. And this outdoor awakening officially kicks off on the very first day of the month.
Primo Maggio.
Right, which is Labor Day in Italy.
Which brings us back to that wild contrast we mentioned at the start of the deep dive. On May 1st, Rome hosts the Concertone.
The massive live music event.
Exactly. And for 2026, the theme is dignified work. They are tackling the terrifying forward-looking reality of artificial intelligence altering the workforce.
They're out there chanting slogans like, "Tomorrow is still ours."
Right. But then I look at the regional itineraries for that exact same afternoon. In central Italy, towns like Fiordemonte or Falacciano are sitting outside hosting the Sagra della Fava e del Pecorino.
Ah, the traditional spring pairing of fresh broad beans and pecorino cheese.
Yes. They are literally just eating beans and cheese at long wooden tables in the sun.
It's a bit of a shift.
I mean, is this just a cute coincidence, or does this say something deeper about how the country operates?
I'd argue it is the defining characteristic of the country's operating system.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Italy functions on parallel timelines. The major cities are forced to grapple with the vanguard of global technology and economics.
Sure, the AI debates.
Exactly. But those hyper-local agricultural festivals, the Sagre, they exist to violently anchor the population to the seasons.
Violently anchor. I like that.
Because you don't eat the broad beans in October. You eat them on May 1st. It forces an immediate physical mindfulness.
And that physical scale just explodes by the second Sunday of May, May 10th in 2026.
The Sagra del Pesce.
In Camogli, a coastal town in Liguria. And I really need to understand the physics of this fish fry. Our sources list 3 tons of fresh fish.
3,000 liters of oil.
And 30,000 portions? I'm trying to picture how you physically heat a 2.8-ton stainless steel frying pan safely in a public square.
It's insane.
Do they just build a giant bonfire underneath it?
No. A bonfire would be an absolute disaster, completely uncontrollable.
So how do they do it?
The engineering here is strictly industrial. The pan is 4 meters wide with a 6-meter handle.
Wow.
And it is suspended on a custom-built scaffolding right in Piazza Colombo by the marina.
Okay, so it's off the ground.
Right. And beneath it, they install this array of specialized high-capacity gas burners that evenly distribute heat across the massive surface area so they don't incinerate the oil.
Okay, but how do you flip 3 tons of fish?
Like, sure.
You can't exactly lean over boiling oil with a plastic kitchen spatula.
Oh, definitely not. They use what look like modified agricultural rakes.
You are joking.
Rakes?
Literally. Teams of volunteers work the edges of the pan using these long-handled stimming nets to agitate and retrieve the fish.
That is wild. It is an exercise in industrial thermodynamics, basically masquerading as a local street party.
I assumed an event this cartoonishly large had to be like a modern invention designed specifically for Instagram.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, the timeline in our sources dates it back to 1952.
Right, a local attorney named Filippo Di Gregori started it. He really just wanted to jumpstart post-war tourism to Camogli.
So it was a marketing stunt originally.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It began with just 6 women frying fish on the beach in small pans and giving it away.
Oh, that's actually really sweet.
The motto was, for St. Fortunato, free fish.
Yeah.
St. Fortunato is the patron saint of fishermen.
So there's a religious aspect too.
Heavily. Before a single burner is lit on Sunday morning, there's a massive bonfire on the beach Saturday night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a formal procession, and a priest actually comes out and blesses the giant pan itself.
That is so deeply Italian. But let me throw a wrench into this idyllic outdoor living room concept for a second.
Go for it.
What happens when the weather inevitably breaks? I mean, it's spring. It rains. The danger of traveling in the shoulder season is usually that if you get pushed indoors, half the museums are closed or operating on reduced winter hours.
Right. But in May, even your backup plan is attractive.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That logistical trap you mentioned doesn't apply here. By May, the historical centers, the major exhibitions, the gardens, they have all switched to their extended summer operating hours.
Okay, so everything is fully online.
Exactly. You can flawlessly pivot from a washed-out beach day to a world-class cultural exhibition without missing a single beat.
Then let's look at the ultimate indoor pivot. The 61st Venice Biennale opens to the public on May 9th, 2026.
The main event for the global art world.
Yeah. Now, my experience with massive international art fairs is that they function kind of like doom scrolling.
That is a great comparison.
Right. It's this exhausting encyclopedic impulse where you are just sprinting past 1,000 pieces of art in 3 days because you're terrified of missing out.
Until your brain just entirely shuts down.
Exactly.
Well, that phenomenon is exactly what the 2026 Biennale attempts to dismantle.
Oh, interesting. How so?
It is titled In Minor Keys, curated by the late Koyo Kuo. And her dedicated team brought her vision to life, which is a direct critique of the exhaustion you just described.
Okay, so less of a marathon.
Much less. They structurally designed the exhibition around conceptual motifs rather than forcing you to march geographically from pavilion to pavilion.
The sources mention a specific architectural feature called oases, integrated into the Giardini and the Arsenal.
Yes, the oasis.
Are these just like fancy benches?
Far more deliberate than that. They are spatial disruptions.
Disruptions.
The curators recognize that art consumption has become a frantic, consumerist marathon.
Yeah.
The oases are designated zones that actively enforce a psychological and physical reset.
So they literally force you to stop.
Yes. The architecture of these spaces is designed to actually lower your heart rate. They demand contemplation and deep listening, breaking the momentum of that doom-scrolling impulse.
It's essentially a mandatory digital detox built right into the floor plan. And the performances seem to echo that need for deeper, slower storytelling, too. There's a major piece called The Poetry Caravan, honoring Kuo's 1999 journey from Dakar to Timbuktu.
Such a powerful piece.
Yeah, and it centers around griots. For you listening who might not be familiar, a griot is a traditional West African oral historian.
Like a storyteller.
Right, a living archive.
Yes. The Poetry Caravan transforms the Giardini into a chorus of storytelling. It forces the audience to stop looking at objects and start engaging with the human body as a site of memory and spiritual healing.
Wow. And, if contemporary art isn't your speed, your other backup plans are just as staggering.
Oh, for sure.
You could shelter from a May shower inside a Renaissance palace in Florence looking at a major Mark Rothko exhibition.
Or duck into Palazzo Barberini in Rome for the Bernini E. Car Barberini show.
The cultural calendar is just fully saturated.
It is. But if the Biennale is about finding an oasis indoors, the ultimate escape valve for all this cultural density is leaving the city entirely.
Getting out into the country.
Because of those long daylight hours, May rewards people who don't stay in one place too long.
This is the time to actually use the rental car.
Yes.
Because doing a coastal drive or a wine route in August is just a nightmare of heat stroke and gridlock.
Absolute nightmare.
May gives you the sunlight and the actual road space to move, and our sources point to the weekend of May 24th and 25th as the absolute pinnacle of this movement.
Cantine Aperte, or Open Cellars.
Tell me about this.
Coordinated by the Movimento Turismo del Vino, this is Italy's national open doors wine weekend.
Okay.
Over 1,000 wineries across all 20 regions open their doors to the public for free tastings, vineyard walks, and live music.
1,000 wineries. That is paralyzing. If I drop a pin on a map, how do I actually strategize a weekend like that?
You focus on density.
Density, okay.
You head to regions like Chianti Classico in Tuscany, or the Barolo area in Piedmont, where the estates are clustered so tightly you could hit 5 in a single afternoon.
That sounds amazing.
But there is a crucial economic mechanism at play here that you really need to understand.
Let me guess. The famous legacy brands like Antinori or Gaja use this as a giant marketing stunt.
The exact opposite, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The experts advise you to skip the world-famous names entirely. You can book a commercial tour with them any Tuesday in October.
Oh, that makes sense.
The real value of Cantine Aperte is for the micro wineries, the small, family-run estates that are entirely closed to the public the rest of the year.
Because they literally don't have the staff to run a tasting room.
Exactly. So this weekend is a massive injection of direct-to-consumer cash for them.
That is so cool.
It is. You are often drinking wine poured by the person who physically pruned the vines.
Yeah.
You are bypassing the distributors completely.
So what's the practical advice for someone going?
The advice from the guides is strictly practical. Engage the winemakers, ask them which vintage they fought the hardest for.
Ooh, good question.
And bring cash. A lot of these tiny operations aren't exactly equipped for international credit cards in the middle of a vineyard.
Right. And if you're taking a road trip through the Emilia-Romagna region that same weekend, you can stack that wine tour with the Parmigiano-Reggiano Open Days on May 23rd and 24th.
Oh, yes.
Over 50 berries open up. You get to watch the actual artisans wrestling these massive wheels of cheese and performing live branding demonstrations.
You are essentially building a bespoke culinary road trip on the fly.
It creates this kinetic energy. You are physically moving through the terroir, tasting the landscape, and directly funding the artisans.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the cinematic reality of this month. We've talked about the logistics and the mechanics, but there is an atmospheric quality to Italy in May that is almost impossible to manufacture.
It really is.
It's the sea light hitting the alleyways, the sound of church bells mixing with the clinking of glasses from the piazzas.
Long sunsets over the gardens.
Yeah.
Some months you visit Italy. In May, Italy visits you.
And this month, Italy being Italy, there's also this wild streak of regional traditions that just erupt into the street.
The events calendar is insane.
Our itinerary is just overflowing with these events. Let's look at the Festa dei Ceri in Gubbio, Umbria on May 15th.
This is one of the most physically punishing devotions in all of Europe.
Punishing is the word.
The Ceri are 3 incredibly heavy wooden statues topped with patron saints of different local guilds.
And they don't just carry them, they race them.
Yes.
And I tried to look up the biomechanics of this race. It's insane.
The Cerioli, which are the teams of men carrying these wooden pillars on their shoulders, they race through the narrow medieval streets of Gubbio.
Just dodging buildings.
Right. But the climax is a dead sprint up the steep incline of Mount Igino to the Basilica at the very peak.
A dead sprint up a mountain with a statue.
It is a grueling display of muscular failure and pure adrenaline.
It sounds terrifying, honestly. But, if you want a totally different sensory overload on those exact same days, May 15th to the 19th, you head down to Sicily.
Noto.
Yes, the Baroque town of Noto hosts the Infiorata di Noto. They transform an entire street, Via Nicolacci, into a mosaic made of millions of flower petals.
And the architecture plays a huge role here. Via Nicolacci is an uphill incline.
Oh, I see.
So as you stand at the bottom, the perspective artificially flattens out. It presents this massive continuous floral painting framed by 18th century Baroque balconies.
And you're just hit with the scent of millions of crushed petals.
Exactly.
The 2026 theme is brilliant, too. Pop culture tells its story.
That is so fun.
Right. So you are looking at hyper-detailed portraits of Freddie Mercury and Andy Warhol renderings, constructed entirely from spring flowers in a Baroque Sicilian town.
That is just incredible.
Yeah.
And then on May 17th, you go north to Venice for the Festa dell'Ascenso, the Feast of the Ascension.
Okay, what is that?
This commemorates Venice's ancient maritime dominance.
Marriage of the sea. But what does that actually entail physically?
Hundreds of traditional rowing boats form a massive, chaotic naval procession out to San Nicolo de Lido.
Hundreds of boats.
Yeah. And the climax is pure pageantry. The mayor, acting in the historical role of the Doge, physically hurls a consecrated ring into the choppy waters of the lagoon, symbolizing the eternal union between the city and the sea.
That is stunning. And just to round out the sheer visual poetry of the month, on May 24th, 2026, which is Pentecost Sunday, you have the Rain of Roses in Rome.
Oh, the Pantheon?
Yes. After Mass at the Pantheon, the fire department climbs to the roof and literally drops thousands of red rose petals through the oculus, that giant open hole in the dome.
It's breathtaking.
They drift down through the beam of sunlight, blanketing the ancient marble floors. And for more on all these events, head to dulcevia.com.
The sheer volume of cultural output in this month is just staggering.
It really is. So if we pull all these threads together, we set out to prove that May is the ultimate sweet spot.
Right.
It sits perfectly before the summer prices absolutely peak, before the August chaos makes movement impossible, but well after the winter gloom.
Everything is open. Everything is alive.
So this is the perfect month.
No, but it's the month people remember most fondly.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the organized people already checked dulcevia.com.
Huh. Fair enough. May in Italy is the answer to a question most people ask too late. You dream about going in July, and by the time you're sweating on a crowded ferry, you realize you missed the window. And for more events across Italy this month, visit dulcevia.com.
I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder, looking at all these itineraries.
Sure.
We've spent this time dissecting how perfectly May functions, how to dodge the crowds, find the blooming flowers, hit the wineries.
Right.
But consider the juxtaposition of this month. On May 1st in Rome, the country gathers to debate how artificial intelligence will permanently alter human labor.
The future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yet exactly 2 weeks later in Gubbio, men willingly put massive wooden statues on their shoulders and run up a mountain until their muscles literally give out, just as their ancestors did.
Wow.
Perhaps the reason Italy endures isn't because it rushes toward the future, but because it absolutely refuses to let go of the past while doing so.